And we're live.
We are live. Hello, welcome back for your big fat vegan RuCap, episode 3, ShakesQueer edition. Woohoo!
ShakesQueer. The ShakesQueer.
Can I just start off this episode by asking a question?
Yes.
A better answer would have been, can you? So Jasmine Masters.
Oh, excuse me. Let's go back.
Jasmine Masters, was she always this hateful, or did they just suddenly tell her, hey, amp it up and make everyone hate you in one episode?
I'll tell you something that I've learned from repeated watching of multiple reality television shows, especially competition-style shows. The episode where the person goes home, you are going to notice that they are featured more than normal.
Yeah. And I've noticed that they do that in the last season or two of Drag Race, where as they're coming into the episode, they kind of like find two people to act like we're going to pit these two against each other today.
Definitely. But also, so the thing is, I feel like this episode was the most we had really seen of Jasmine. Like, you hadn't seen her very much previously.
Interesting. So in short, she was always this hateful. We just weren't seeing it.
Well, it's entirely possible.
Yeah. It just like her starting in on all the younger queens and like walking around with their, with their asses hanging out, put some clothes on. You know what? When I worked at Lucky Chang's and there was like 10 drag queens sharing one dressing room, nudity is expected. Like your ass and balls and parts are going to be on view for everyone to see. Like, I don't know how that's...
Yeah, it's a dressing room. I don't know. I don't understand when people are uptight in a dressing room. It's a dressing room. Like, you're going to be naked.
If you're modest, go in a corner or look away. But like, yes, you know what? Some people.
Yeah, if you don't want to hang yourself out, that's your choice. But it's a dressing room. You can't help what other people are going to do. They're changing their clothes.
Yeah.
They got to get naked.
As much as I'm starting to dislike her in this episode, I have to say for the first mini challenge, the old ladies thing, I thought Jasmine Masters killed it.
With a loaf of bread? Come on!
Who decides this? You know what I'm going to do? What? I have nothing else to say about this, but what? And I'm also not done because I could go on for 5 minutes.
The best part was Rue's reaction because it felt so real. Where'd you get a loaf of bread?
Like, that's one thing I packed for my drag. In my drag suitcase, there is always a loaf of bread.
I just had a loaf of rye.
Just
because I knew I was going to play an old lady.
Yeah. But so for the challenges with Violet Chachki was complaining about getting picked. She's like, here I am getting picked last again. It's like, no, bitch, you didn't get picked last again. In episode 2, you were picked second last, and now you're picked last. So get it right. And P.S.
Yeah, if you want to know, I think we are seeing so much insecurity out of Violet at this point in the game, and because she's like, for example, now this is a reference to the Glamazonian episode, but when she's like, I hate Michelle Visage, it was like, Violet, Michelle didn't say anything nasty to you, and you won the challenge. She was clearly just super insecure about being judged.
Yeah, interesting. Well, she's also 20.
So I feel like that continues into this episode, this insecurity, where it's like she wants to be doing great. And it's also, I think a lot of these queens end up having that like big fish, small pond syndrome when they come to Drag Race, where it's like where they perform and in the clubs where they have shows, they're like big hits and everybody loves them. And they come to Drag Race, and first of all, everybody's a big hit and everybody's judging you and critiquing you all the time. I think it's hard for them to take sometimes, and they get, that's why we see queens go crazy.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, where she comes from, she's just told that she's loved, and now she's not getting the same reaction. I get that. But, like, it's like, if you want to wonder why no one wants to pick you, it's not because you're not talented. Because I think she's actually a really talented queen, and I think she's a really beautiful queen.
I do, too.
But, like, no one wants to be around you. No one wants to have to deal with your attitude. And it's not just because they don't want to deal with you, but, like, having that energy just, like, ruining your team. Like, all it takes is one stank face look from her, and suddenly like the morale is just plummets.
It's that insecurity thing. She just talks back all the time. It was in the Glamazonian thing when she was with Trixie. It was like everything Trixie said, she's talking back. And it's like, girl, just relax.
Yeah. She did have a good point, though.
What did Trixie say? Public school.
Trixie's like, what now?
Public school.
Did she say that, or that's what she's...
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Trixie said that about Violet. She's like, okay, take it easy now. Public school.
I'm not sure I entirely get it, but that's still funny. So
it's kind of a bitchy thing to say, but it's funny.
Oh, like Trixie didn't go to public school, and so she's judging her? Oh, okay, I get it.
Like you learned that behavior in public school?
It went over my head for a minute. Because public school, product of public school. That would be a great t-shirt to have. Product of public schooling. So in the Maxi Challenge, first off, I can't get over at this point how hot Pearl is as a guy. He's real pretty.
Yeah, he's hot.
Yeah, he's fun to look at. But interestingly, a Violet who hasn't really had much, to lend on any of the challenges so far, she's really spot on this one. She's like, no, I shouldn't be playing that role. I should be playing the other role. And secondly, like all of
it felt like Kennedy. It felt like Kennedy just did that because Jasmine didn't want to do the ghetto, because it is kind of like, oh, she's the black girl, she should be the ghetto part. Totally. That is kind of irritating. I think that's where Jasmine's coming from, and I totally get it. But the thing is, she really, with the group that Kennedy had, that really was the way she should have cast it. And so she really just should have done it the first time out. Even when Kennedy read the description of McBitch, she was like, oh, it sounds like Violet. It's like the first thing she said.
Yeah, totally. It sounds like Violet, so I'm not going to cast her in that role.
So I'm going to...
And Violet actually...
So I'll cast you in a different role.
Violet actually killed it in that role, with one exception. What was the line she said at the beginning of the McBitch? The line was like something about like, not tonight, Satan, or something like that. But it was clearly a reference back to last season, something someone else said. And you're meant to like say that, like, huh? There's the joke. Remember, I'm quoting that line, and she just kind of said like, ugh, not tonight, Satan. Anyway, it's like, no.
Yeah, that's like, well, I think the real issue with that whole group, the McBitch group, is that I think partly because of the role switching, but also because they obviously didn't run it together very much. They were just nobody was ready, and so they weren't able to take any direction. So it just became about getting the lines out instead of actually being able to tweak anything. Because you imagine if they'd come in ready, then Michelle and Ru could have like helped them get it better. But instead, it was such a train wreck they couldn't do anything.
Do you think Kennedy could have done any worse on the actual challenge itself?
No.
Like every single time. My favorite moment of Kennedy fucking up in the challenge was there was a line that she and Candy Ho had in tandem. And they start the line together, and then Kennedy loses it, and Candy finishes the line, and then you just see Kennedy just move her lips like, oh yeah, that's what the line was. I'm still gonna move my mouth, so at least I put in the physical work, even though it's 10 days later.
Yeah, Kennedy really tanked it. Kennedy is definitely a solo artist.
Yeah, agreed.
She does not do well in a group, and she is not a good leader.
Someone mentioned, I don't know where to even look for it or where to find it now, but there's some dinosaur from some Disney animated something, some like baby
I'll know.
Dinosaur. And someone put like a meme of Kennedy next to that dinosaur's face. They're the exact same face.
Oh, is it from I can't remember the name right now, but I know what movie it is.
Something The Land Before Time or something like
that. The Land Before Time! The Land Before Time! The Land Before Time! That's it! No, I'm gonna look it up.
Ducky. Ducky apparently is the name.
Yes, Ducky! God, that movie is great.
I've never seen it. I can't believe I figured this out. Where is it? It should be somewhere on this Tumblr. What's Tumblr supposed to be? I don't get it. Why am I looking at a Tumblr?
Oh, honey, it's for the kids. I don't know either.
I don't want to know though. That's the thing. It's like, why should I be bothered with this?
This is it. I got it. Look.
Oh my god! Wait, hold up the screen. Hold up the screen.
I'm holding it up to the screen.
That's it. That's it. We have a 95% confirmed genetic match.
Hysterical. Also, I love that movie.
Same
I
person.
love The Land Before Time.
Yeah, so we can keep her around for a few more episodes because of that. That's fun to look at. It's all I can see now when I look at her. That's all I can see.
I have such mixed emotions about Kennedy, but boy, did she stink in the ShakesQueer. Boy, did she blow it. Awful.
Mixed emotions.
Awful. Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it later because in this episode, it was really just like she did really poorly, and I was really irritated with how poorly she did and how she did not take credit for it stinking at all. She did not go down with the team.
Credit for it stinking, but she was basically her extent of her owning up to that was like, I will take responsibility, but I'm also not going to be told what to do because I'm the director. But it's like, you may be the director, but I can't stand when directors hide behind like, well, I'm the director. It's like, yeah, but if you aren't actually directing me, like if all you're doing if all you're doing is giving me line readings, like here is how to say the line. But actually Violet chimed in when Jasmine couldn't figure out how to say the line. She's like, no, you want to say it more like you're Regina George from Mean Girls. That was a helpful comment. That's something an actor could actually.
That was really good direction. Yeah, she was right.
Yeah, totally. But during the actual challenge, as soon as Jaden started to have her breakdown and started like crying on stage, Miss Fame gave her this look, which to me, it just seemed like Miss Fame was like, oh shit, I was gonna pull that.
Stop it.
Oh well, can't have two of us having a nervous breakdown on stage. I guess
there goes my moment.
It's yours.
Well, I will say so let's talk about Team Max, since we've totally bashed Team Kennedy to bits.
Sure.
But Team Max, I thought Max picked the team brilliantly, and I thought that they were great, and I was totally impressed with Max. I just, especially what you're talking about when Jaden had like her breakdown and Max stepped in and like pepped her up. I was really moved by that, and I thought it was totally genuine, really genuine. Like she wasn't even like trying to do. I just felt like, because that was my thing with Max. I was like, "Are you real?" Because she seems very affected to me. I was like, "You seem like you're phony baloney." But that challenge, when she did that and she connected with Jaden, and also the way that like just when everybody hit the stage and they were just about to start, and Max is like, "We've got it, guys. We're gonna kill it." I was like, "I love her. I love her. She's so sweet." And
I really love Max in the first episode. I probably wanted to love Max in the first episode.
But that's ShakesQueer. I loved her.
Because she's from Wisconsin, I probably wanted to love her a little bit more. Though I've never heard of Hudson, Wisconsin. What's that?
Isn't she from Kansas?
No, she's from Hudson, Wisconsin, which Wisconsin is shaped like the, well, I think on our video that's backwards. So Wisconsin is shaped like the back of your hand. So like here's where Wisconsin ends. Here's Milwaukee, like right around here. Here's like Green Bay. Here's Madison. Here's like the up north, like up there is Michigan. This like all right here is like Minnesota. Hudson, Wisconsin is like here. It's like probably a 5-minute drive to Minneapolis. Like you are more part of the Minneapolis.
Like you could stand in Wisconsin and Minnesota at the same time.
Pretty much, yeah. Like when you're tucking, basically you have one foot in each state. So as someone from Wisconsin, let me just tell you, I don't know how Max gets by in Wisconsin with that accent, but anyone in Wisconsin would look at someone who talks like that, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, no one talks like that. Understand, in Wisconsin, if I said I'm a drag queen, they would look at me like, you're a what? And I'd be like, a drag queen. Laura, you say the word D-R-A-G queen.
Drag queen. Drag queen.
Drag. If I said drag in Wisconsin, it would sound to them like I'm trying to put on a fancy accent. Like I'm trying to make the words. Like, no, you're a
you northerner.
Queen because you're a fag, and when you drink, you are half in the bag. Bag, fag, drag.
See Fargo for more references.
Absolutely. I did not care for Fargo. I don't care. And people are like, oh, it's a black comedy. I'm like, no.
Stop talking. Let's keep talking about Drag Race. You're not about to say that one of the best movies ever made isn't good. We're moving on.
It's not that it's not good. I cannot watch violence or people dying or people being shot in the head or someone running around with a hood over their head and try. I'm never a fan of like, please don't take my life.
In a blanket,
no, I'm going to take
like
your
Baba,
life.
sweet pea.
But I'd rather hang on to my life. But I'm going to change that. It freaks me out. I can't watch people die.
All right, let's talk about Drag Race.
So
Jasmine and Trinity are the bottom two.
I actually ran into Trixie Mattel last week at Bob the Drag Queen's Tuesday night show at Industry. And just hanging out with her for a while. It was so funny because she actually said drag queen at a certain point. I'm like, oh, you are from Milwaukee.
Home.
One or two more things I was going to say about the challenge. I don't know if you guys got the memo or if you subscribed to the newsletter, but two, this just ends. One, apparently Violet Chachki is over everything. She's over everything. Like, there's not name a thing. Name a thing.
Slushies.
Oh, she's over slushies. She's over those. And Max.
iPhones.
Oh, she's over iPhones. She's over those. And Pearl. Oxygen. She's over oxygen. Pearl, by the way.
Hey, Pearl,
you're gorgeous. You're a hot guy. Baby, we're trying to say you've got to wear hip pads. You've got to wear hip pads. Like you can't give man body in drag. It's just too distracting. When I can see your man hip bones, it's just not pretty. Frosty Flakes, are you listening to this?
Did you? Yeah, listen up, Frosty. Did you feel like Pearl was particularly man body in her bearded look? Maybe I was so distracted by the beard I didn't notice.
You know, I don't think it was the beard. I think it was during ShakesQueer. And I get that she was trying to do a thing there, but like...
Oh, and she was... You know what? I had several things to say about Pearl in ShakesQueer that I feel like the judges missed. I really should have been on the judges panel. Anyway, I really should be on the judges panel, period. RuPaul, call me. All right. But I really felt like what Pearl was trying to do that nobody got is that Pearl was trying to be like a butch lesbian gym coach.
Teacher. Yeah, I get that.
Right?
Yeah.
She was totally trying to just like, I'm a butch. And they should have been like, no, we hate that. Be, Sherry O'Terry cheerleader. Because that's obviously what they wanted.
Then wear some pads and be a voluptuous, be like a Niecy Nash or like a Megan McCarthy gym coach, but like you got to build something on. You can't strip away and just let us see your boy hips. It takes us out of it. It takes me out of the drag,
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I really wasn't taken with anything in McBitch at all, except I kind of, Katya was real funny and solid, and I was moderately charmed by Violet. I felt like she could have done a lot better, but it was a really good part for her.
I think Violet did the best for her team, especially considering everything she had to contend with. As much as I love Katya did nothing for me in that challenge. I just don't think her character really had anything to do.
No, she had a terrible part. Yeah, her part was small and boring.
Oh, and speaking of a terrible part, Trixie was basically not even in this episode because she was just like the narrator. And I was like,
oh. She was the narrator. It wasn't a good part for her.
But you know what? Also, I have to say, I mean, if you are doing that part and I forgot that part, to some extent, you did not make me remember you. But
You're right about that. Well, look, we're going to talk about Trixie more in the next episode, but I have a few things to say about Trixie's performance thus far. And obviously, I know that Trixie's your friend, so I've had my eye on her from the very beginning, and I obviously have a built-in affection for her because by proxy through you. So I always have that grain of salt in my head, like, you know, don't forget that you have a bias towards this person. I felt the same way about Bianca last year, but then she won. So.
Well, yeah,
I'm biased towards Bianca, but she's the best.
There's definitely, I see what you're saying. There's definitely some moments where I'm kind of like, oh, Trixie, I'm pulling for you, but you gotta pull it out of yourself a bit more. But
well, I'll say what I think. Let's do the next episode. I'll do it in the next episode. I'll talk about it.
But you know who had it for me in this episode. Jaden Dior Fierce. I mean, maybe it was just as simple as her meltdown when whoever it was died, but it killed me that she's like, no. Yeah. Just that bit.
Yeah, she's funny. She's really funny. The thing is with her, is what it seems to me with Jaden in each challenge, is that when she gets there, it's really good, but it's hard for her to get there.
Yeah.
Like there's obstacles for her.
And it's a bit
but when she gets there, it's really good.
And it's shtick for her. I mean, it's always it's usually pretty much the same kind of thing that we get from her, but she had it for me in that episode. So what about
I loved Ginger.
Oh yeah. Ginger, yeah. I still thought Ginger
and Max to me were hilarious and adorable and great. I loved them both.
Well, that whole team was great. But how about that Candy Ho, huh? Let's hear it for Candy Ho. Remember that? Remember.
I don't like Candy Ho.
I don't. You know what? It's hard for me to make any statement that starts with "I don't like Candy," but she's not making me love her.
I know, right? You know what Candy Ho to me is? Candy Ho is a low rent Rebecca Glasscock.
Oh, I don't even know that I can agree with that.
She is, though. She's trying to be Rebecca, but she's not as good.
I guess. Yeah, she's trying to do the whole, like, I'm fishy, I can pass. Isn't that what all of this is about?
But she can't, and she isn't.
Yeah.
But she even kind of is trying to look like Rebecca. I swear. She's trying to paint like Rebecca. She does similar hair to Rebecca. She is totally trying to be Rebecca, but girl, you are not Rebecca. And I know because I have been this close to Rebecca Glasscock. You are not Rebecca Glasscock. You step up. Oh my God.
I remember I did a pageant with Rebecca. I won. But I remember.
You mean you beat Rebecca?
Yeah. I beat Rebecca Glasscock in a pageant. This has happened. I don't know that
you did, girl. I was there. I was backstage. I don't need that to be my
claim to fame. I mean, you know, I've done other things too, but I just remember there was a moment where
that we love her. I love Rebecca Glasscock.
Love Rebecca.
So I love her.
So speaking of painting, right before the runway challenge, can we talk about Jasmine Masters' orangey face?
Yeah, I know. It's a thing. You know, I don't know.
Her entire face is orange, and she's got, like, this, like, light highlight over her eyelids and, like, light highlight somewhere else. I forget. She looked exactly like one of the bodies in the bodies exhibit. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I've never seen the bodies exhibit.
Okay, bodies. Okay, I wish I could do a side-by-side comparison.
It reminded me, though, of Coco Montrese and the Tang. Everybody making fun of her with the Tang.
I remember that, but it was worse than that. Because, like, the way Jasmine did it, it basically looked like muscle tissue and then a little bit of skin left over, like, the eyes and the lips. That's like what you see at the bodies exhibit, stuff like that.
Oh, the bodies exhibit. Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know. It's not really working as a reference for me.
Depending how much time I want to put into this episode and editing it, I could just, like, put one picture up here and then, like, one picture up here side by side. That would be funny. I don't know if I'll have the time. But you guys can Google it for yourself. So the beard challenge.
So is there anything else you want to say? Jasmine went home. Who fucking who?
Well, first we got to get to the beard challenge and the runway. Who did you love and who did you hate?
I loved Violet. Every time I'm going to say that I love Violet, I'm going to hate that I said it, but I like her a lot. I loved her look. Who else did I like? Trixie. I loved Trixie's bearded look. I loved Pearls. Pearls was my favorite with the red. That was my favorite bearded look for sure. Yeah, I loved it. Really avant-garde. I loved that she didn't have a traditional beard, but had a beard. And
I don't get how these kids are so young. I don't get how these kids are so young and have such a sense of fashion and style. I do not. I'm like the devil wears JanSport. I don't understand where style comes from. That's why I'm not even close.
That's why that's hilarious. That's a backpack. JanSport is a backpack.
I know.
But Violet was stunning in that silhouette with the beard. She looked great.
Yeah.
It's a weird challenge. I thought it was a weird runway challenge.
Yeah, I feel like that was something that they're like, you know what? Now we're just gonna fuck with you. So put a beard on. I loved Max. I think Max's look was just really on point. I guess I wasn't as taken with Pearls, but now that I remember Pearls' look, I'm like, oh yeah, that was fierce.
Yeah, it was my favorite, but I didn't like the beard concept, so I liked what she did with it particularly because I wasn't a fan of the concept.
But Trixie Mattel, I don't know if that's a look she was.
Oh, I love Trixie.
I don't know if that's a look she was planning on doing. Like, I don't know what you pack when you go on Drag Race, or if you get those kind of things ready to go on the show. Whatever it took for her. I think you do.
Let me cut in here.
Yeah.
I have always thought that they had to wing those, but I am now of the belief that they get that list before they come because of a comment that Pearl made on Untucked for the Death Becomes Her challenge. I know we're not there yet, but for that challenge, she made a comment in the Untucked room about how she had to change her look because she had to use her Death Becomes Her look for a different challenge. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
they know in advance they pack?
Yeah, I finally got that this episode, that their looks are specific enough that I feel like they must be given a list, and basically they must be told.
Right, and then also last year, who was it was somebody I liked, April Carry On. After she was eliminated, on her Twitter, she tweeted photos of what she had been planning to wear that week.
Interesting.
So it's like she wasn't making up those. I thought maybe she was just making up those looks based on the episode, but obviously they were pre-planned. She had them all.
Yeah. So, well, Trixie's look for me was almost something akin to like a religious experience. Like something happened. Like that look
he looks like Jesus.
Yeah, I mean that's the obvious, but like that look was so stunning and so striking and so angelic that like I was like moved by that visual. I'm a very visual person. Like that visual made me feel things. Like that I think is powerful.
It was
and
awesome
even the moment where she's safe, so she's like up on the back, of the stage. And what was it? What was the drama that happened during that? Oh, I think it was during like the Wake Up Pearl thing where they cut to Trixie. And if you look, there's just a look on her eyes where it's like for a moment, she's not being a drag queen. She's just legitimately concerned about her friend. And it just reminded me that like she's one of the people up there. She's one of few people up there that is just being herself and being a real person throughout. So with that,
yeah, her eyes looked amazing. It was a sick outfit.
And, I saw recently on Facebook or Google or somewhere. No, I think on Instagram. One of her fans actually tattooed that image on his arm or somewhere.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, that's that. I'm kind of like, I'm not like, I'm the opposite of a tattoo enthusiast. I'm usually like, really, you want that on your arm forever? That I could see.
Well,
that's
my face, and I am a tattoo enthusiast.
Yeah, but like for me, I don't always understand why you would want one particular image to be there forever. That's an image I'm like, I see why you'd want that there forever. That makes absolute sense. I have no further. Speaking of, like, let's talk about who who bombed in the beard challenge. For me, obviously Jasmine Masters. I'm like, girl, they said beard, not 5 o'clock shadow, not stubble. Beard.
Well, but even then, and look, I got to tell you, I'm pretty flexible. I could be convinced if she had done some stippling. It's like she smooched. If she had just like maybe stippled on a good beard, like I understand that you're allergic to spirit gum. All right, I get it. You could have done something better with the paint job than just this black chin strap. She could have done more.
I don't know who agrees with me. I don't think she's allergic. I don't think she's gonna break out. I don't think she's gonna rush to the hospital.
Did you think she was like you know, at a restaurant, people are like, I'm allergic to cilantro, but they're not. They just hate it.
I think what's going on with her is it's a pride or an ego thing where she's like, I am a drag queen. I am not going to wear a beard. And then she's like, I have to do something final.
Well, whatever it is, what I'm saying is, all right, fine, that's all fair and valid. What I'm saying is, even within her limitations, as I understand them, I still think she could have done better. I think it was even low given her limitations.
I think she could have done even better than what you're suggesting. I think, fine, you don't want to spirit gum something. You're a drag queen. Get creative with how to attach something to your face. Get a beard, put it on.
Well, look at Pearl. Pearl's the prime example. Look what Pearl did. She could have done something like Pearl.
I think Pearl would have used some kind of adhesive to get that to stay on here. But here's the thing. Get some kind of a beard.
Right, but I'm just saying that's the kind of creative thing you could do.
Sure, but even then, what Pearl did requires putting adhesive on her face. And I get that that's what Jasmine doesn't want to do. So here's the thing. Put a beard on a string or on some twine or on some wire and like get that thing attached to your face. Hook it to your wig somehow. Hook it around your ears like eyeglasses. There's a million ways to get something to attach to your face without using an adhesive.
Or you could do the beard. What you're making me think of is like old fashioned now when people are wearing a fake beard and it's clear that it's a fake beard. Yeah. I mean, that can be a committed look. If you committed to that fake, I'm wearing a fake beard. I think that would have been fine. It wasn't like convince us you have a real beard. It was like give us a bearded look. If you did like, you know, some kind of like 1940s Santa Claus beard that's obviously fake, but you did it right with the right look, you could probably pull it off. Look at us. We already solved our problems. How long have we been talking? A minute and a half? Pathetic.
And I have to acknowledge what the hell was happening on Kennedy Davenport's face. I think she.
I know. It's like she just threw fur at her face.
Fur would have looked like something. It looked like pubic hair.
That's what Carson said.
It looked like pubic hair, or like she just shaved her arm. She's like, hey guys, can I trim everyone's back
hair? It's like she had a lollipop and then she tripped and fell in pubes.
That makes me actually want to puke.
Well, it's pretty gross.
Yeah.
Kind of makes me want to lollipop.
The lip sync. So it was Jasmine lip synced against Kennedy.
Kennedy.
Was Jasmine dancing or was she doing calisthenics?
Jasmine was out. Jasmine was out before the runway started. She gave up.
Yeah. But like during the actual lip sync.
I mean, she'd already packed her bags.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Well, we figured that out.
She packed her bags. She told everybody, I'm ready to go home. I just missed my nephew. I want to go home and be with my nephew. And then she, said, I'm going to wear my best gown tonight because it's going to be my last night. And she did. And then she didn't try very hard to lip sync and she left.
Yeah.
That's that.
Yeah. Oh, it's one thing to watch a queen just give up.
Herself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. If you've mentally given up like that, you have lost.
Here's the last question. Where are they picking these lip sync for your life challenge songs? Like, are these consistent?
From the, I'll tell you where they're coming from. They are coming from the cheap royalty section. That's where they're coming from.
Either that,
Drag Race is on a budget, y'all.
If there were a CD you could order on television called "Now That's What I Call Music" RuPaul Drag Race Edition, no one would be buying it.
Well, it's been an old school season. Lots of old songs.
None I've ever heard of. Anyway, terrible songs.
Oh,
And
really? Well, I've heard of all the songs, but they're all really old. It's not like I was sort of hoping like one of the songs I really like that's like a hit right now is Lips Are Moving, Meghan Trainor's song. And I'd love to see a lip sync for your life to Lips Are Moving. That'd be a great number. But I'm sure that the royalties for that are through the roof. And so instead they're playing Blondie because I'm sure it's cheap.
yeah, I have imagined that it has something to do with royalties. Of
course.
Okay. So moving on to my next question, the where the hell are they getting the songs, and where the hell are they getting their guest judges? Like, I get Mel B. Who the hell was that other girl?
Wait, are you talking smack about Kat Dennings? I'm about to get mad.
Yeah, why? Who is she?
Yeah, it was Kat. Hey, she's more important to me than Mel B. I don't agree with you now. I would take Kat Dennings over Mel B any day.
I would never say Mel B is important, ever. And I saw. But Kat, who now? Kat, who is she?
She's on a sitcom right now that I'm sure you just don't watch, but she's on a major network sitcom, and she's been in a bunch of movies.
Okay, well, all right.
She's in 40-Year-Old Virgin. She's in Nick and Nora's something.
Excellent Adventure
with Michael Cera. What? Okay.
I was kidding. I said Excellent Adventure.
Yeah, so she's an actress. She's in stuff. I think she's great. I think she's lovely. She's and I thought it was hilarious that she said it was the best day of her life to be judging RuPaul's Drag Race. I concur. It would also be the best day of my life.
That's got to be a great gig for any celebrity.
I would have so much fun.
Who would you, if you were a queen on Drag Race and you were doing the runway, who would you want to be one of your judges out there in the audience?
If I was a queen?
Yeah.
Okay. Who would I want to be my guest judge? That's a really hard question for me.
I know. I don't know that I have one either. I mean, you know what? I'm going to say Katie Seagal. Married with Children.
All right. I mean, it just feels like such a big pool. I think that's part of why it's hard for me to answer the question.
Can I change my answer?
Yeah.
You know who I would want to be my celebrity guest judge if I were a queen during the runway show? My mom.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer.
I would love for my mom because first off, my mom would not have anything nice to say about the other queens necessarily. She'd be like, well, I don't know. I just liked Honey. I just think she was the best. You know, she can tap dance and she's so smart. Yeah. That's it. That is all.
Yeah, I think my answer is probably some female comedian, like, I don't know, like, you know, like Kristen Wiig or maybe Tina Fey, Amy Poehler. I'd want somebody like that.
Or, you know, anyone really. I have no more comments. I think we got through a whole episode.
Yeah, that's more than enough. That's like too much.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to stop this broadcast. So, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for becoming a member. Thank you for being vegan if you're vegan. And if you're not vegan, as RuPaul said, I don't want to hear any more goddamn excuses.
Make it work, people. Make it work.
Make it vegan. All right, bye, guys.
Bye.
She looks like she has other things, like better things to do. All right, bye.
Sorry.